These are the Rubber Taped Ramones. I know that several of you were looking for a review on these. These came with a description of the rubber in the construction, and I will put that in the description below. So I got these pretty much at the top of the season. They were running out of the shoes in my size. I got them from Essence, and I'm usually always a 44 in Rick Owens. These were on sale for 44.5, and I got the last pair. I was looking specifically for a shoe that was going to be all weather. I mean, you know, when I got them, they look kind of like an art project. You know, they've got all of the rubber tape, and they were just interesting to me. They are matte. They are not, you know, reflective in any way. They absorb light. So you really have to look at them to notice all that texture. They are so versatile. They can disappear into sort of a more, if they're in decent shape, they can disappear into a more formal outfit, or they can be really rugged, which is what I got them for. They do have removable insoles. I'll measure the insoles that it came with. I replaced them with these. As I mentioned in the other video, if they have removable insoles, I replace them with these nice insoles that I get for my cycling cleats and stuff like that. The interior shoe is entirely leather, and then it's all taped in this rubber. I think the first thing that impressed me was that all of the taping was the same on each shoe. Every single piece of tape is in the same place, you know, opposite its partner on the other piece of the shoe. It is by no means random. That was really cool. That was really impressive. They have these 3 staples on the back of the shoes. That is a reference to some of the early Rick Owens shoes that had staples in the back. Because it is completely taped and because it is all a uniform color, it really highlights the silhouette of the shoe. I tried a pair, this is my first pair of Ramones. I tried another pair of the Spring Summer 21 collection, and I sent them back just because the black shoe and the white laces was just so high contrast for me. And I really like things that are simple, and this struck me as simple, even though the thing that makes it unique is really more of a texture than it is color. Like other Ramones, it's thin up top and then kind of flares out. The feature that I love the most is really this sort of throat of the shoe, and it really is almost like a human throat. I'll put some photographs in of something that it made me think of an artist it made me think of. But there is some kind of anatomical human quality about them that's really interesting. They're also heavy, which is cool. Just having something heavy, you hear the little jingle of the zipper. They've had a season of serious wear. You can see that there is some heel drag, but it's definitely serviceable. I bought these because they were rugged, because they were pretty strong. You know, I wasn't worried about trashing them. I was interested to see how they were going to hold up. And I would say, you know, for what they are, you know, kind of like an art project, they held up incredibly well. I got them wet, I got them in the snow, road salt. They're incredibly easy to clean because they are like a tacky matte rubber. They pick up a lot of dust, which kind of gets in the way of the silhouette. And if you just have a horsehair brush or anything like that, it's the best way to clean it, to get that stuff off. And, you know, there you go. With a few strokes, you know, it's back to kind of that lustrous matte rubber. Of course, the rubber tape does wear away. It first started to wear away on the tape that meets the sole right there. So that started to wear away, particularly in the heel where the shoe flexes a lot. You know, it started to just separate and chip there. None of the tape has like peeled off at the ends, which is really impressive. So whatever adhesive they used is very good. Never had a problem with water getting in the shoe, you know, but it definitely cracks. Rubber is a material like any other. It kind of has its own specific tolerances. If it gets too wet for a long period of time, rubber will rot. If it gets too dry, rubber will crack. But they're easy to take care of. All you have to do is wipe them down, wipe them off. They will always maintain their silhouette. And I think that's part of the cool thing about the boots. Now, I tried something creative in order to protect the rubber, and that is use this product right here. Oh! So, you Canadians might know this. It is Whistler Performance Lubricants Fork Boost Lube. I use it for my mountain bike suspension. It cleans the seals, keeps the rubber in good shape there, the rings, O-rings that keep the dirt out. I put it on the boots because I thought it would condition the rubber, and it did condition the rubber, but it didn't quite do the same thing for the boots that it did for the suspension. So I got caked on there. I had to kind of get it off and get it off. It may have worn itself into the rubber a little bit, the adhesive. That said, it did make it supple. It did make the rubber kind of juicy again. Maybe don't get creative like I did. Other people's reactions, they got a lot of compliments. It's been my experience that women are more interested in the shoes from Rick Owens. You know, they want to know, what is that? Where did you get it? Why does it have an enormous sole? Men tend to be, you know, who aren't familiar with Rick Owens, tend to be like a little bit more weirded out or intimidated. So maybe it's just kind of like a gendered experience. The exception was with these. Dudes really like these. So I got a lot of questions about them from other men. How could they improve it? I think they could make this shoe, I think Rick could make this shoe in different materials. I think, nylon tape might work for the summer. It's a lighter fabric. Canvas tape might work. It's also a lighter fabric. So I think there's some interesting options there if you wanted to try it. I recommend these. They're great. Yeah, that's about all it is. Remember, don't like, don't subscribe, don't hit any buttons, forget all your passwords, and don't forget who brought you the review on the rubber tape Rick Owens. Me, the first one.